In economics, Gresham's law is a monetary principle stating that bad money drives out good. For example, if there are two forms of commodity money in circulation which are accepted by laws having a similar face value, the more valuable commodity will gradually disappear from circulation. The law, which has been known and articulated in classical antiquity and in medieval Europe, Middle East, and China, was arbitrarily named in 1860 by Henry Dunning Macleod after Sir Thomas Gresham, an English financier during the Tudor dynasty. It is a bit complicated to understand, so we went looking for more information. This is Money Matters, the difference between good and bad money. But before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. The basics first. What is money? Yes, you know what money is, but ask 100 different people to describe it and you'll get 100 different answers. This is what money is according to Investopedia. Money is a medium of exchange. It allows people to obtain what they need to live. Bartering was one way that people exchanged goods for other goods before money was created. Like gold and other precious metals, money has worth because for most people it represents something valuable. Fiat money is government-issued currency that is not backed by a physical commodity, but by the stability of the issuing government. Above all, money is a unit of account, a socially accepted standard unit with which things are priced. Fiat money does not require backing by a physical commodity. Instead, the value of fiat currencies is set up by supply and demand and people's faith in its worth. Fiat money developed because gold was a scarce resource and rapidly growing economies could not always mine enough to back their currency supply requirements. For a booming economy, the need for gold to give money value is extremely inefficient, especially when its value is really created by people's perceptions. So what is the difference between good money and bad money? Under Gresham's law, good money is money that shows little difference between its nominal value, the face value of the coin, and its commodity value, the value of the metal of which it is made, often precious metals, nickel, or copper. In the absence of legal tender laws, metal coin money will freely exchange at somewhat above bullion market value. This may be observed in bullion coins such as the Canadian gold maple leaf, the South African Krugerrand, the American gold eagle, or even the silver Maria Theresa Thaler in Austria and the Libertad in Mexico. Coins of this type are of a known purity and are in a convenient form to handle. People prefer trading in coins rather than anonymous hunks of precious metal, so they attribute more value to the coins of equal weight. The price spread between face value and commodity value is called seigniorage. As some coins do not circulate, remaining in the possession of coin collectors, this can increase demand for coinage. On the other hand, bad money is money that has a commodity value considerably lower than its face value and is in circulation along with good money, where both forms are required to be accepted at equal value as legal tender. The minting of coins provides the most basic example of Gresham's law applied. In fact, the law's namesake, Sir Thomas Gresham, was referring to gold and silver coins in his relevant writing. Gresham lived from 1519 to 1579, working as a financier, serving the Queen, and later founding the Royal Exchange of the City of London. Henry VIII had changed the composition of the English shilling, replacing a substantial portion of the silver with base metals. Gresham's consultations with the Queen explained that people were aware of the change and began separating the English shilling coins based on their production dates to hoard the coins with more silver, which, when melted down, were worth more than their face value. Gresham observed that the bad money was driving out the good money from circulation. In Gresham's day, bad money included any coin that had been debased. Debasement was often done by the issuing body, where less than the officially specified amount of precious metals was contained in an issue of coinage, usually by alloying it with a base metal. The public could also debase coins, usually by clipping or scraping off small portions of the precious metal, also known as stemming. Reeded edges on coins were intended to make clipping evident. Other examples of bad money include counterfeit coins made from base metal. Today, virtually all circulating coins are made from base metals known as fiat money. While virtually all contemporary coinage is composed solely of base metals, during certain contemporary 21st century years in which copper values were relatively high, at least one common coin, the US nickel, still maintained good money status, largely depending on the market rates. In the case of clipped, scraped, or counterfeit coins, the commodity value was reduced by fraud as the face value remains at the previous higher level. On the other hand, with a coinage debased by a government issuer, the commodity value of the coinage was often reduced quite openly, while the face value of the debased coin was held at a higher level by legal tender laws. At the core of Gresham's law is the concept of good money, money which is undervalued or money that is more stable in value, versus bad money, money which is overvalued or loses value value rapidly. The law holds that the bad money drives out the good money in circulation. Bad money is then the currency that is considered to have equal or less intrinsic value compared to its face value. Meanwhile, good money is currency that is believed to have greater intrinsic value or more potential for greater value than its face value. One basic assumption for the concept is that both currencies are treated as generally acceptable medias of exchange, are easily liquid, and available for use simultaneously. Logically, people will choose to transact business using bad money and hold balances of good money because good money has the potential to be worth more than its face value. Good money has intrinsically more value over time than that of the physical metal or the alloy which it is represented by. In fact, an alloy is not pure because it is a mixture of metals anyway. Gresham's law was originally based on the composition of minted coins and the value of the precious metal used in them. However, since the abandonment of metallic currency standards, the theory has been applied to the relative stability of different currencies' value in global markets. In modern times, the legal links between currencies and precious metals have become more tenuous and eventually been cut entirely. With the adoption of paper money as legal tender and accounting entry money through fractional reserve banking, this means that the issuers of money are able to obtain seigniorage by printing or loaning money into existence at will as opposed to minting new coins. This ongoing debasement has led to a persistent trend of inflation as the norm in most economies most of the time. In extreme cases, this process can even lead to hyperinflation, where then money is literally not worth the paper it's printed on. Here are some examples. Silver coins were widely circulated in Canada until 1968 and in the United States until 1964 for dimes and quarters and 1970 for half dollars, when the Coinage Act of 1965 was passed. These countries debased their coins by switching to cheaper metals, thereby inflating the new debased currency in relation to the supply of former silver coins. The silver coins disappeared from circulation as citizens retained them to capture the steady current and future intrinsic value of the metal content over the newly inflated and therefore devalued coins, using the newer coins in daily transactions. The same process occurs today with the copper content of coins such as the pre-1997 Canadian penny, the pre-1982 United States penny, and the pre-1992 UK bronze pennies and 2 pence. This also occurred even with coins made of less expensive alloys such as steel in India. In cases of hyperinflation, foreign countries often come to replace local hyperinflated currencies. This is an example of Gresham's law operating in reverse. Once a currency loses value rapidly enough, people tend to stop using it in favor of more stable foreign currencies, sometimes even in the face of repressive legal penalties. For example, during the hyperinflation in Zimbabwe, inflation reached an annual rate estimated at 250 million% in July 2008. Though still legally required to recognize the Zimbabwe dollar as legal currency, many people in the country began to abandon its use in transactions, eventually forcing the government to recognize de facto and subsequent de jure dollarization of the economy. In the chaos of an economic crisis with a near worthless currency, the government was unable to effectively enforce its legal tender laws. Good, more stable money drove bad, hyperinflated money out of circulation, first in the black market, then in general use, and eventually with official government support. In this sense, Gresham's law can also be considered across global currency markets and international trade, since legal tender laws almost by definition only apply to domestic currencies. In global markets, strong currencies such as the US dollar or the euro hold relatively more stable value over time, good money, and tend to circulate as international media of exchange and are used as international pricing references for globally traded commodities. Weaker, less stable currencies, bad money, of less developed nations tend to circulate very little or not at all outside the boundaries and jurisdiction of their respective issuers to enforce their use as legal tender. With international competition in currencies and no single global legal tender, good money circulates and bad money is kept out of general circulation by the operation of the market. The relative stability of the US dollar is also why it is used to indicate the value of cryptocurrencies. It is also why altcoins are using Bitcoin as an indication of their value. We have come to accept Bitcoin as a powerful cryptocurrency indicator. We hope you understood what we explained. Do you have any better way to explain it? If so, feel free to leave a comment. Remember to come back for more videos, and until then, stay safe.